Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.
Let's unpack this. If you are listening to this, chances are you're spending a pretty significant portion of your day, hunched over a screen.
A steering wheel, a desk.
Right, maybe even a book. And that nagging stiffness, that chronic ache in your neck and shoulders, that is what we are diving into today.
Welcome to the deep dive. We are exploring a subject that is, it's increasingly defining modern physical health.
It really is.
It's called upper cross syndrome, or UCS. Our insights today are drawn directly from Alexandra Kash's work, particularly her book, Longevity Through Physical Activity, The 15-Minute Habit. And in it, she argues that posture is, it's a foundational element of long-term physical resilience. It's not just about vanity.
And that is precisely our mission for you, because UCS isn't just about looking a little slumped. It's this pervasive systemic imbalance that quietly drains your physical performance.
Undercuts your confidence.
Totally.
Yeah.
And it influences your overall quality of life. We're going to dissect this recognizable X pattern of dysfunction, understand the subtle habits that build it up over years, and
this is the important part.
Yes. Then lay out Kash's really powerful 4-step plan to truly restore that symmetry and vitality.
Kash makes a very clear argument here. She says understanding this pattern gives you immediate clarity on why that tension seems to just perpetually build up in your neck and shoulders.
Even if you stretch all the time.
Exactly. Despite endless stretching, you're fighting a structural imbalance.
So let's start there. The anatomy of the fight. What exactly is upper cross syndrome?
Well, it's characterized by that X pattern of muscular dysfunction you mentioned.
Kind of like its lower body counterpart, right?
Exactly. It's this dysfunctional pairing where muscles on one side of a joint get really tight, overactive, and they pull the body forward.
And then the other side.
While their opposing partners get weak and sort of underactive, they just lose all their supportive function.
Okay, so let's get specific. We can't just list a few muscle names and move on, right? We need to understand what this feels like when it's malfunctioning. So the tight side, the overactive diagonal of that X.
Right. These are the muscles that pull you out of alignment. They're holding on in this constant, just exhausting state of contraction.
So which ones are they?
Okay, so primarily it's the pectoralis major and minor in the chest. These muscles essentially shorten, they become rigid, and they pull your shoulders forward and inward.
That's that classic rounded sort of inward folding posture.
That's the one. And then on the top side of the X, you've got the upper trapezius and levator scapulae.
The ones everyone is always rubbing at the end of the day.
They're the ones creating that hard, painful knot you reflexively go for, constantly hiking your shoulders up toward your ears.
Okay, so wait a minute. If I'm stretching my chest every single day, but I haven't done anything to address the underlying weakness in my back, am I actually making the imbalance worse?
That is a critical question. And, the answer is often yes. Yeah. If you only stretch the tight muscles without activating the weak ones, the imbalance it remains. And your nervous system will often just tense those tight muscles right back up again.
Oh, because they're compensating.
Exactly. They're compensating for a lack of support somewhere else.
Yeah.
It's a total vicious cycle.
Wow. Okay. So let's talk about that weak side then, the muscles that are losing the fight. The ones modern life has decided we, no longer need.
Exactly. This other diagonal of the X includes the deep stabilizers of your neck, the deep cervical flexors.
Muscles, right.
Very tiny, but their job is huge. They're responsible for maintaining proper head carriage, stopping your head from jutting forward. When they get weak, the big, thick neck muscles take over and just burn out.
And the back.
And then you have the lower trapezius and rhomboids in the upper back. Their job is to pull the shoulder blades back and down, keeping the shoulders stable.
When they atrophy, the chest muscles just win that tug of war.
Every time.
And the visible result of this whole struggle is, it's obvious when you see it. Rounded shoulders, that characteristic forward head posture text neck, and just a hunched upper back.
It's an entire system working against itself just to keep you upright.
And that system inefficiency is key, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. The body is using more energy just to hold that poor position than it would to maintain a neutral balanced spine. And that takes us really seamlessly into the daily habits that build this whole syndrome up.
Quietly, over time.
So quietly.
How does it develop? It doesn't need some dramatic accident. It's incremental. It's the cumulative load of screen time overload.
Hours and hours.
Yeah, hours upon hours spent peering forward at phones, tablets, computers. We're literally training our bodies to exist in a permanent state of flexion.
And you have to think about your daily environment. It's not just the desk. It's the sustained slouching while you're driving, the way you sit on the couch to relax.
Even carrying a bag on one shoulder.
Right. Heavy backpack or shoulder bag, always on one side. These sustained positions, combined with just totally neglecting exercises for those upper back muscles, they build UCS silently.
Until that forward slump just becomes your default setting.
Exactly.
And the toll this takes, it goes so far beyond just looking a bit tired. Let's talk about presence. That forward head, the rounded shoulders, they actively diminish a person's presence.
They really do. It sends all these nonverbal signals of fatigue, disinterest.
Mm-hmm.
It's honestly astonishing how deeply this is tied to perception. There's research that suggests physically open, upright postures don't just make you look more confident and approachable.
Right.
They can even affect your hormonal balance,
Yeah.
potentially elevating testosterone and decreasing cortisol, the stress hormone.
Wow.
And a slumped posture does the opposite. Think about walking into a job interview. That physical presentation, it doesn't just look less engaged. It actually inhibits your own physical sense of power before you've even said a word.
And beyond the aesthetics and the confidence hit, the physical limitations become really restrictive. We're not just talking about minor aches here.
Not at all. The constant, unrelenting strain on those overactive neck and chest muscles creates very real chronic pain.
Like what? What are we talking about?
So it commonly manifests as tension headaches that start at the base of the skull and just wrap around your head. It's that persistent neck stiffness that never fully goes away.
I know that feeling.
And in some cases, because that forward shoulder posture can compress nerves exiting the neck, you can feel chronic pain that radiates down your arms.
And structurally, UCS is just a performance killer. If you try to lift weights, say an overhead press or anything requiring powerful movement,
your range of motion is physically limited by those tight pecs. Your upper back, which should be the powerhouse for stabilization, it just can't engage properly.
So whether you're swimming, throwing a ball, or just reaching up to change a light bulb,
you are working harder to achieve less.
And that gets us to efficiency, specifically breathing.
Yes, the impact on breathing mechanics. When your chest is caved in and your shoulders are rolled forward, your diaphragm and ribcage literally cannot expand fully. You become a shallow chest breather.
Which limits oxygen, limits energy.
Exactly. This compounding inefficiency doesn't just limit physical energy, it also contributes to mental fatigue and stress. It feels like your system is just perpetually running on a low battery.
So the problem is deep, it's systemic, it's structural. Which brings us to Alexandra Kash's practical 4-step framework for correction. And you can't just decide to stand up straight. The tight muscles have to be quieted before the weak ones can even be activated. It has to be this thoughtful sequence. Inhibit, lengthen, activate, and integrate.
And this sequence is the key insight. We have to internalize this. Trying to strengthen a muscle or stretch a stiff joint without first preparing the tissue is, like we said earlier,
driving with the brakes on.
It's like trying to drive a car with the brakes on.
Yeah.
Kash argues you have to send a signal to the nervous system to turn the volume down on that contraction first. That is the inhibit phase.
Okay, so let's break down step 1, inhibit. This is all about calming those tight, screaming muscles pulling you forward. We're using something called self-myofascial release, or SMR.
Right, and we're not just massaging. We're actually trying to reset the nervous system's reflexive tension.
The prime target here is
the tight anterior chain. Kash advocates for the pec major minor SMR. You need a foam roller or even just a lacrosse ball. You position it right below the collarbone, near the shoulder joint.
Just roll slowly
along the chest, and you deliberately pause on those really tender spots for 30 to 60 seconds. That focused pressure sends a direct neurological signal to the muscle, telling the chest muscles, it is okay to relax now.
And you mentioned we can't forget the back of the arm.
We can't. The triceps SMR is also crucial. It releases tension in the long head of the tricep, which often contributes to that forward pull on the shoulder. Same idea. You roll slowly along the back of the upper arm, focusing on any tender areas.
Okay, so we've inhibited the hyperactive muscles. We move to step 2, lengthen.
Exactly. The muscles have been neurologically calmed down. Now we can safely increase their length and their flexibility.
And this isn't just about like a passive stretch. We need to encourage mobility through the thoracic spine, the mid-back, which gets so stiff from slouching.
Right. And a great example Kash provides is the quadruped T rotation. You start on your hands and knees, put one hand behind your head.
And then rotate up.
You rotate your torso and shoulder upward, pointing the elbow toward the ceiling.
What's great about that one is it forces movement through that rigid part of the spine while also dynamically stretching the chest.
It's fantastic. You're not just hanging out in a stretch. You are actively moving into a healthier range of motion, reinforcing that whole idea of opening up the chest cavity.
Okay, so we've turned the volume down the loud muscles, we've lengthened them. Now comes the hard part. Step 3, activate.
This is about finding and waking up those deep stabilizers and the weak upper back muscles that have gone dormant, if inhibition is turning the loud muscles down.
Activation is turning the quiet ones up, like a silent alarm clock.
Exactly. You need to isolate these muscles. A highly effective targeted exercise for this is the prone W raise to clap.
Okay, describe that.
You lie face down, you position your arms in a W shape, palms down. Crucially, you lift your arms and chest just slightly off the floor, not high, just enough to engage.
And then the key is that squeeze.
That's it. You aggressively squeeze your shoulder blades together and down, bringing the arms forward for a small, controlled clap.
And that squeezing motion is so deliberate, it specifically targets the rhomboids and the lower trapezius.
The very muscles that need to anchor your shoulder blades back and down.
Right. You should feel this burning sensation right between your shoulder blades and nowhere else. This exercise retrains those forgotten muscles to just fire again.
And hold the structure in place. And that brings us finally to step 4, integrate.
Okay.
You fix the individual parts, but the body has to learn to use them all together, under load, in movements that mimic daily life.
So integration is where we stop doing exercises and start making this balance an automatic habitual response.
Precisely. The ultimate goal here is stability and functional strength. A fantastic integrating exercise is the overhead press, performed from a kneeling position.
Kneeling? Why kneeling?
Kneeling is a subtle but powerful change. It removes the involvement of your lower body, which forces your core to stabilize your pelvis and demands total control from your upper back and shoulders.
So you can't cheat.
You can't cheat. Using light dumbbells, you press the weight overhead, but the focus is less on lifting the max weight and more on controlling the movement. You have to maintain a neutral spine. No arching your low back, no letting your head jet forward.
This trains your system to use the activated lower traps and core together,
which ensures the posture correction sticks when you're carrying groceries, stacking boxes, or lifting anything else in your life.
So if we synthesize all of this, what does Kash's framework really mean for you, the listener, in terms of, longevity and resilience?
It means that upper cross syndrome is a profound signal. It tells you exactly how your body is coping with the specific sedentary demands of modern existence.
It's a roadmap.
It's a roadmap. By adopting this 4-step sequence, inhibit, lengthen, activate, integrate, you aren't just reducing pain, you are proactively altering the very structure of your movement patterns. You're reclaiming the functional strength you need to age gracefully and maintain your energy.
It really redefines strength. When you view the body as an integrated system, you realize true power starts with alignment and balance. When you adopt this framework, posture stops being a mechanism for compensation and chronic strain. Instead, it becomes a powerful, adaptable tool for resilience throughout your lifetime.
The body is constantly adapting to the stress you put on it. All we're doing here is guiding that adaptation toward symmetry, ease, and strength.
So, strength, in this context, is built from balance, awareness, and intention. For you listening, what simple, consistent change, be it better screen awareness or implementing just one of these 4 steps as part of a 15-minute daily habit, what will you commit to this week to begin building your physical resilience from the foundation up? How will you make posture your tool for adaptation rather than compensation? That's a challenge to take away from this deep dive.
Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.